Welcome to another edition of Wings Weekly. Jay Klein Connect here, head coach Scott Langer there. Coach, let's jump right into the weekend. Unfortunately, a costly 4-1 loss on Friday night. A close first and second, and I said many times in the broadcast, kind of mentioned it to you there pregame on Saturday, that it felt like you guys outplayed them in many aspects through the first and second, but they kind of broke it up open there in the third using special teams with a shorthanded goal and a power play goal. Like we talked about before the game Saturday, the effort was there, but again, maybe a case where the execution wasn't the best. What were your thoughts on Friday's matchup?
Yeah, the work rate was definitely there. We made some mental and physical mistakes, and they're good skilled hockey team that they're going to make you pay on those mistakes, and they certainly did. We were right there in the game and gave up a shorthanded goal, which really put the dagger in us at that point. So, it's just that learning the hard way sometimes. Yeah. We've had some losses this season that we've done some things that hopefully we are getting better at making the mistakes, but they're costing us points. So we have to clean it up, and I thought we definitely did that the next night.
Yeah. That was going to be my next point is, a lot of the things that, weren't being done on Friday night, like bodies in the crease, and I heard Coach Stepan, talking about that to the guys about how important it was to, use that effort, work to get there. And on Saturday, it paid off. I think there were at least 2 goals that were off deflections, or somebody was able to pick up a rebound or whatever, and it was just funny to see, the fruit that effort, that it bared after, again, making some of those changes. So again, Saturday a 6-3 win. They didn't want to go away through the first and second, especially. You scored first. They answered twice a 2-goal lead that they were able to, to climb back into things until the third there, when you guys kind of broke it open again with two power play goals. A real physical matchup there. It seemed like on Saturday night too. And like we talked about, being able to do some of the things that weren't getting done on Saturday was a big difference, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's the fun thing as a coaching staff is that we've seen the team grow on Saturday, where they did change their game to what our identity should be, and we got the results that we needed to. Obviously, splits big on the road, and especially in North Iowa. So, but the game plan was laid out, and I thought our guys executed it very well. And I think they see now what the result can be when they're playing the game the right way.
It's funny. You mentioned in the pregame talk that we had, that you got to get to scoring goals. Scoring goals is fun. It's the best part of the game, and so on. And then I was like, okay, well, let's hang 6 on the scoreboard. So that's fun, right? And the guys get an opportunity to experience that. And because like I mentioned to you, I think that's the most goals scored in any game all year so far this year. I wanted to ask you a little bit about the makeup of this team. If hypothetically, if you were the head coach, say in July, do you think that the makeup would look any different?
I'm not sure about that question, because when I was brought in, I was able to make some changes where I thought would really help our team. Yeah. Adding some guys to the lineup that I thought were high-end players and played a certain game. I don't know the answer to that question. I wasn't a part of the recruiting last year, but we obviously had to make some changes early to make our team a little better in a very difficult division. Teams were getting better, and we had to get better. So, but I'm not sure. Every day is a tryout for these guys, and there's guys out there just knocking on the door for an opportunity. So. We love to stick with our guys and watch them develop, but we at the same time, guys have to put in that work. We'll have an addition coming to the lineup this weekend, which we needed on the back end in Owen Benoit. So again, just some minor changes, but I'm not sure. I thought when I took the job as the general manager that based on what we were discussing with the coaching staff, that there had to be some changes right away out of training camp. I was able to be at the main camp, and there was definitely some holes that needed filled.
Okay. Just got to think a little bit about the different styles and what it might look like if it were different at all. I talked about it a little bit there on Saturday night. Twice a 2-goal lead, and they wouldn't go away. It's often said in hockey that a 2-goal lead is the most difficult to protect. Do you believe that?
No.
No?
No. I think 1 goal's enough to win a hockey game.
Yeah.
And the way you should play is keep the 0 on the board and the 1 on your side, and you win the game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we didn't go away either. That was the good thing is we stayed on them, physically, and tipped the rink a few times. We pushed back once they scored their goal.
Yep.
We had a big goal there by Kupel on a great play by Dylan Wegner that gave our bench some life, some big-time life. It was a big-time play, and again, responding the right way is the key. And I told the guys after the game that we got better that night. We got better as a hockey team.
Well, and you mentioned it. I think I mentioned it on air too. That was a huge goal to get that one back after giving up a shorthanded goal. 2 shorthanded goals over the course of the weekend. Do you see an issue with that?
Oh, it's an issue.
Yeah.
I think no one in this room likes it. No one's happy about it. Teams are pressuring us pretty hard, and we're still in the early phases of trying to put our specialty teams together in order for them to work successfully. But the way that Austin and North Iowa kill penalties, they're high pressure teams, so you have to really maintain the puck, and you got to protect it, and you got to make good decisions. And we weren't making good decisions,
right?
And our guys know it. We don't have to sit there and show it to them. They know how hard that is to get scored on the power play. So we'll be fixing that again this week, and hopefully it'll be better on the weekend.
Well, one of the keys was going to be staying out of the penalty box, not giving them a whole bunch of chances. And overall, I think, you guys did a pretty good job of that. I think the first 2 periods on Friday, they had I think 4 or 5 penalties at that point, and you guys hadn't had 1. So doing a pretty good job of that. I wanted to ask you a little bit about, oftentimes you'll say that can't take bad penalties. What's a good penalty versus a bad penalty?
Well, a good penalty is if you're saving a goal against. That would be one. The other one would be if you take the opposition with you. I think that's a good penalty. But it's the lazy penalties that aren't liked around here. The hooks and the holds and stuff
Trips.
like that. The trips. That's an effort penalty. A little more effort, you don't take that penalty.
Right.
And we are getting better at that. Early in the season, we took a bunch of penalties, and for sure cost us hockey games, and I think our guys learned a lesson in that department. But anytime you can if you're going to take a penalty, take a guy with you. That's my theory. And obviously, if you're defending a teammate or family member, I think that's a good penalty. And other than that, get rid of the bad penalties, which are the lack of energy type penalties.
Some are a little easier to kill than others, it seems. Kind of along those lines, and you just mentioned it, protecting a teammate, family. Sometimes there's a penalty coming, and you're about to go on the power play. Then after the whistle, there gets to be some pushing and shoving, and next thing you know, there's another penalty assessed, and they're coincidental negating the power play. Is that something that, I know it's got a time and place, but do you ever kind of go, get frustrated with that?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. There's times when you need to take a punch.
Yeah.
You need to take a little bit of garbage in order to have your team be successful and to get that power play. Even if you don't score in the power play, you can create momentum through your power play. So,
sure.
But there's also times when there's liberties taken with your teammates that I'm okay with. Don't do that to a family member. And if you have to get in there and handle it, you handle it. But it's never really good to negate a power play, but there is a time and a place, like you said, and I think for the most part we've done a good job there.
Yeah, without a doubt. Okay. Right now, Austin sitting in the top of Central Division right now with 24 points after they swept Minot up in Minot. Minot falls to second with 21 points. North Iowa in third with 20, then the Wings in fourth with 19, St. Cloud with 15, and Bismarck 14. Those two teams split over the weekend. You again see North Iowa coming up this coming weekend, Friday and Saturday, except here at the ODI Ice Center. You come away with the big Saturday overtime win against Austin, the last home game here. And again, we've talked about before how it can become difficult to play a team 4 games in a row or whatever. Their tempers start to flare a little bit. You've seen each other. You know what to expect. Well, to a degree anyway. What do you expect from the Bulls as they come into Aberdeen this weekend?
Well, I'm sure they're preparing, after losing, getting 6 put up on them and physically handled a little bit. I'm sure they're preparing hard this week, and Coach Sandin's using that on the chalkboard that it's time to get even again. But, they've had some success in our building, so we have to play a good brand of hockey against them. But, coming off of that last game Saturday, our guys should be in a good state of mind, confidence-wise.
Right.
And with a good week of preparation, ready to go come drop of the puck Friday night. And it's an opportunity to keep moving up in the standings. And that's the goal.
Yeah. Well, and being ready to go in the puck drop, I think Friday and Saturday night both, first and second period, like we talked about, they were close, but you guys, you didn't see that kind of slow start that has been, kind of a problem as the season has gone along. So it's kind of nice to see that improvement too, and hopefully it continues. All right, Coach, congratulations on a big win there Saturday night. Good luck against North Iowa here at the ODI Center, and as I always say, good luck to you, and thanks so much for taking some time.
Thanks, Jay.
All right, we'll continue with the second portion of Wings Weekly coming up after this.
We raise the bar on bar food with sandwiches, tenders, and there's more where this came from. To the greatest of all time.
The second portion of Wings Weekly continues on, and as usual, a player is joining me. This time it is Dylan Wegner of Nashville, Tennessee. Dylan, this player portion, like I was mentioning, before we started recording, basically it's just sort of a get to know you and an opportunity for fans to kind of, a little more personal view of the players as we go along. You had a couple of games in the USHL before landing here in Aberdeen. I wanted to, like the usual, it seems a little bit, repetitive, but everybody's got a different story. How did you get started in hockey? And what were some of your influences early on?
My dad was definitely my biggest influence. He played college hockey at West Point.
Okay.
So he got me started right away. Started skating about 2, and I've loved it ever since I was little.
Okay, so you start making your way through the ranks. How do you become a wing? When do you go to main camp? How does that process work?
So like you said, I was in the USHL last year. Des Moines wasn't going to be a great fit for me, so I was looking elsewhere. And Steve, he's from Nashville, so I've known him for a while, and he contacted me and just seemed like a great fit for the next step for me.
Excellent. Well, we're certainly happy to have you. Two goals on the weekend and an assist. Great pass to Kopel.
Thank you.
To create a great scoring chance there. I laughed after you scored on Friday night. And I said, I got a funny feeling that he might be pretty happy to take that monkey off the back. Yeah. And about 5 seconds later, you skate over to the bench, and I see you reach back like you're pulling it off. And I was like, yep, that's kind of what I thought.
Oh, yeah.
That had to feel pretty good, though.
Yeah, great feeling. Long overdue. So definitely great to get that one out of the way.
I mean, it's funny. Oftentimes goals come in bunches, and you get one Friday, then turn around on Saturday, another nice goal there. Tell me a little about what it's like when you're in a little bit of a slump like that. When do you start to? I know the saying is often holding the stick a little tighter. That you're almost trying a little too hard, just because you just want that so much. You want to get that one in the record books or in the scorebook, so to speak. What does that feel like?
I think you said it right. It's like just gripping the stick a little bit tighter. It's just you thinking about it a little bit too much. And going into the weekend, I was just thinking, just gonna have some fun out there, just play my game. Don't worry about the points because they'll come. And that's what happened. So
that's great advice, because really that's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, guys get frustrated, and then the more they get frustrated, the more elusive those goals become.
Exactly.
And it is when you just kind of say, the heck with it, and have fun playing a game you love.
Exactly.
And then they start coming your way. That's awesome. We talked again a little bit about how you got here to Aberdeen. Nashville, obviously a far cry from Aberdeen, South Dakota.
Yes.
And even, even in the USHL, it's a different environment, different towns, different whatever. What were your impressions? Tell us a little bit about what you thought of when you got to Aberdeen for the first time And when you got to come into the ODI Center?
I could tell it was going to be a great spot. It's a small town, and usually in these small towns playing junior, you get a lot of good fans, and that's what I'd heard coming in. So this was something I was really excited for. Heard just a devoted community, and I was really excited to step into that.
Yeah, it's funny. Mason City, Iowa, 26,000 people. Austin Bruins, 26,000 people. Bismarck and Minot are bigger, of course, but it does have a good fit, good feel, it seems like.
Definitely.
Pretty flat around here, though. Nashville's a lot more rolling hills and mountains around it, huh?
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always joked you can see your dog run away for 3 days around here. But, well, how about when you're not playing hockey? What do you like to do? You have any hobbies or anything?
My favorite hobby is definitely golf. I got really into it the last year or two, and started playing with my dad, actually, and he got me into it. But playing juniors last year, a lot of off weekends or whatnot, we would play a lot. So I've really started to enjoy it.
I hear that a lot. Seems like hockey players and golf go hand in hand. Have you got a chance to play with anybody in here?
I've played with quite a few, actually.
Who's the best?
Luke Lindsay is pretty solid. I've heard Reimer is pretty good too, but I haven't gotten the chance to play with him yet, so to be determined. So
can't imagine him not talking long enough to play golf. Let's see. I got a couple of goofy questions that I'm going to be coming your way here in just a little bit. The kind of a would you rather sort of scenario, but I wanted to talk with you a little bit about winning at home. We've got North Iowa coming here. You guys, as I was just talking with Coach about a little bit ago, a big overtime win against Austin not last Saturday night, 2 Saturday nights ago. Mm-hmm. That's a great feeling in front of the crowd, as you mentioned, a very devoted group that fills the stands here at the ODI Center. What do you feel like you need to do against North Iowa after having played them twice? Is it a different feel, like when you've played a team 2 games in a row and then you turn around the next weekend and play them again? Is there a little bit more energy? Maybe is the right word.
Yeah, I think a little bit. I mean, we know what they're going to bring. We saw it Saturday, and we obviously overcame them and had a great game there. So we just need to keep bringing that into the weekend. We know their style, and we know what they're going to bring. So just gotta make sure we get it done here at home.
Is it a little more difficult to stay disciplined? When I was talking with Coach, sometimes tempers can boil over a bit. There gets to be some pushing and shoving around the crease or in a corner or whatever. Those kinds of things. We started to see some of that Saturday night. Well, then again, as I mentioned, you turn around and face the same team. Do people get a little more hot-headed, do you think?
Yeah, tensions are definitely high after back-to-back weekends against each other. I mean, you remember who hits you in the corner, who slashes you, and all that. You bring it into the weekend with some fire.
Which can be a good thing, but like I said, I think it makes it a little more difficult to stay disciplined too, and not take any of those after the whistle kind of penalties and stuff. Yeah. All right, holidays. We're creeping up. Hard to believe here we are in November. I mean, we're 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving. Yep. What would you say your favorite holiday is, and why?
I mean, Christmas is definitely a go-to. I mean, I love everything leading up to Christmas. I think it's my favorite. Just the lights, the snow, the movies is definitely a big thing, and the food is always good.
Yeah. It's just kind of a whole vibe around Christmas.
Definitely.
I like that you mentioned the lights, because that's always a big one for me, too.
Yeah.
All right, a couple, again, these goofy questions here for you. I asked Coach this last week, and I thought it was pretty interesting. Would you rather always lose? I mean, you never win, or never play? Would you rather never, ever play a game or always lose when you play?
That's so tough. I'd have to go with losing. I mean, playing is a gift, and I mean, I don't think I could give that up for forever. Yeah, it'd be hard. Even though losing every time is not fun, but you get to play at least.
At least there's, I was thinking about that. I was like, when you're playing, at least as you're playing, you're thinking there's a chance. Yeah. But if you know you're going to lose every game, that would kind of be a different difference maker too. So
definitely, that's a tough one.
Yeah, it really kind of is. How about what would you rather have, more money or more time? And I know that's kind of a blanket, vague statement, but just think about, say, you get an extra, maybe over the course of your life, whatever it might be. Time is fleeting, money is too. What would you say?
I think they're both precious. I mean, it's more how you use them. I think time is very valuable, but money can also like, I don't know, enhance like maybe experiences or adventures that you can go on. I don't know. I think I would go with time.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm surprised at that. I always feel like the answer to these questions, or those kinds of questions, really depends upon their people's age. It seems like younger people don't really usually appreciate time as much as they do money. Well, when you get older, time is like, oh man. So that's a really great answer by you there. Kind of, like you said, very thoughtful answer for sure too. What would you say your favorite part of the game is? Now, there's different components. There's obviously, the winning obviously is a lot of fun. Scoring is a lot of fun. But I've talked to some guys in years past and so on that really enjoy the kill, like the chaos of penalty kill, things like that. What would you say your favorite part of the game is?
Like you said, like winning and scoring, those are pretty given. I don't know. I think just like the third period, closing out games is definitely the best. The energy's high on the bench. I mean, you got people standing up for each other. You got blocking shots. I mean, I think that's definitely my favorite part.
Good. Love that. Coach loves that too. Loves guys that'll stand in front of a shot and take one for the team too. All right, we touched on this a little bit, but you've got North Iowa coming into the building. You mentioned some of the things that you know them, you know some of their tendencies and so on. What would you say some of the keys are that, coaches obviously, they game plan and stuff, but as a player, what does this locker room need to do this Friday and Saturday?
I think play exactly how we did Saturday night. I mean, we came out hard. We didn't give them many opportunities. They're an opportunistic team, so we just got to keep that in the back of our mind, especially defensemen, not letting guys get in behind them. I mean, that's what they want to do, and I mean, we know that going in. We showed that we can outwork them and eventually get the job done.
For sure. Well, and like we talked about, I feel like knowing a team, having some knowledge of what it is that they, what they want to do, having seen them so recently, sure they're going to make some adjustments, but that's going to help a little bit, I would think. Well, I appreciate you taking some time here to, like I always tell the guys, I know you're busy. You got a lot going on, whether it be not only just preparation of hockey and meetings and different things like that, but, you've got a life outside of here too. So I appreciate you taking some time to talk with us. All right, folks, Wings are back home at the Odie, as we just talked about, against the North Iowa Bulls. Friday, the doors open at 5:30 and the puck drops at 7:15. It's our Veterans Day game. All active and former military veterans will receive free admission to Friday's game. We welcome Hub City Radio as the game's corporate sponsor inside the Automax Party Deck. Plus, keep an eye out for specialty superhero jerseys worn all weekend. Saturday, doors open at 5:30 and the puck hits the ice at 7:15. We welcome Sanford Health as the game's corporate sponsor inside the Automax Party Deck. Our specialty jersey weekend continues on Saturday in partnership with the Children's Miracle Network and Hub City Radio. Fans are invited to stick around as we auction off specialty jerseys immediately following Saturday's game. Get your tickets ahead of the weekend's games online at tickets.aberdeenwings.com or at the door on game nights. You can also get $10 general admission tickets at any Sea Express location in Aberdeen with additional purchase. Very few corporate night sponsorships are still available for the 22-23 season. Call Aaron at 605-380-5852 to see what's left. Don't forget, you can listen to Wings Weekly via our podcast. Find the audio for this season's episodes on Spotify, Stitcher, or iHeartRadio. And for all the latest news and information on the Wings, visit AberdeenWings.com or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on TikTok. Once again, I appreciate Dylan Wegner, Nashville, Tennessee. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yep, thank you for having me.
All right, folks, that'll wrap up this week's Wings Weekly.